Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe, peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the Trillion Dollar Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. This is your pre-market briefing for Monday, March 2nd, 2026. We do have some heavy manufacturing data coming out at 7 a.m. I track the headlines, the data, and the market levels so you don't have to. This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you could use this show as a foundation. Let's get into the mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, so 7 a.m., we have ISM Manufacturing PMI forecasted at 51.7. This is a growth barometer. Above 50 is expansion, below 50 is contraction. A surprise above forecast could strengthen cyclical names and yields. A miss could pressure equities and lift defensive positioning. All right, and also at 7 a.m., we have ISM Manufacturing Prices forecasted 60.6. This is an inflation component. If prices come in hotter than expected, markets may interpret that as sticky inflation, potentially impacting rate expectations. Both reports hit simultaneously. Expect volatility at 7 a.m. All right. Earnings pre-market, we had Berkshire.B, one of our $1 trillion tickers. As you can see here, they gapped down along with the rest of the market outside of oil and defense. But they missed on earnings by 14%. They beat revenue by 3.8%. And is currently down almost 2% from Friday's close. All right, after market close, we have MongoDB, and we have Riot after market close. All right, let's get into the Robert Greene's Daily Law for March 2nd, 2026. Retain the craftsman spirit. Keep in mind, the work is the only thing that matters. In investing, the craftsman spirit means studying balance sheets, understanding business models, respecting compounding, avoiding emotional overreaction. Money is the result, process is the foundation. When investors focus only on price, they lose discipline. When they focus on craft, analysis, risk control, patience, performance improves over time. For traders, the craft is execution, risk management, level marking, emotional control. Not social media, not hype, not prediction. The best traders detach from ego and focus on execution quality. The work matters. So, mark your levels, wait for confirmation, respect the data. This is $1 trillion Tickers, and I'm your host, Matt Riches. All right, let's check out some of these $1 trillion ticker market caps. So, number one, the most valuable company in the world, at 4.3 trillion, we have Nvidia, followed by Apple, 3.88 trillion, Google, 3.76 trillion, Microsoft 2.91 trillion, Amazon 2.25 trillion, TSM 1.94 trillion, Meta 1.63 trillion, AVGO 1.51 trillion, Tesla 1.51 trillion, Berkshire.B 1.08 trillion, and Walmart 1.02 trillion, y'all. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me finish setting up this stream. It's going to take me about 20 seconds. So give me a second, good people. All right. Let me write good morning in the chat as well, along with peace, blessings, financial freedom. All right, there we are. Okay, so let's get into these pre-market levels right here. So Nvidia pre-market 175, Google pre-market 301.81, Apple pre-market 262.15, Microsoft 392.54 in the pre-market, Amazon 204.01 in the pre-market, TSM 363.87 in the pre-market, AVGO 308.66 in the pre-market, Meta 636.72 in the pre-market, Tesla 390.09 in the pre-market, Berkshire.B 495.01 in the pre-market, and Walmart 127.50 in the pre-market. Oh man, I gotta fix this display right quick, y'all. Give me a second. I gotta put all the 8 most valuable companies on here in the correct order. This thing always resets, man. It's pretty, I don't know why that is. Even though I put save, it always resets to that. Okay. So top left hand corner, we have Nvidia. To the right, we have Google, Apple, Microsoft. Underneath Nvidia, we have Amazon, TSM, AVGO, and Meta Platforms. All right. Market's about to open, so let's get ready, y'all. Market open, market open. The market is open. March 2nd, 2026, 6:30 a.m. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's see. Nvidia is down over 0.5% at 176.31. Google is down over 3% at 302. Apple is down over 1.25% at 261. Microsoft is down almost 0.5% at 390.86. Amazon is down almost 3% at 204.03. TSM is down over 2.25% at 365.82. AVGO is down over 3.25% at 308.78. Meta is down almost 2% at 638. Tesla is down over 3% at 389.60. Berkshire.B, who just had earnings this morning, is down over 2.25% at 493.61. Walmart is up almost 0.25% at 128.20. We did have a prediction. I know I'll put that on QQQ. Why are my lines not showing up? Anyway, we had a prediction from our partner Dub that the Qs was going to run to 602.18. And also, if it breaks that, 606.04, which was which would fill the gap. All right, so we'll check back on that later. But let's check out SPX. SPX is down 0.75% at 6,813. SPY is down almost 1% at 680, y'all. 680. The NAS 100 is down over 0.75% at 24,720. QQQ, good call, Doug. Just hit your price, hit your first target. Good call. We only been open less than 3 minutes, so great call on that, brother. All right. Pam Bondi's Dow Jones, 48,463. The Dow Jones ETF is at 485. The VIX has spiked up crazy. They have first opened at 25.17, but now it is trending down. It's at 22.57, but it's still up 13%. And the 10-year Treasury yield, it did fall under 4 last week, but it definitely gapped up. Now it's 401. Gold, wow, look. So gold had hit an all-time high. I believe this is all-time high. Let me verify. No, it's not. Nope. It just ran up a lot, but it didn't hit all-time high. Yeah, gold was running crazy. Look. From this Sunday, the thing was at 5,281. That thing ran up to 5,419. But it is falling now. Gold has been falling ever since 5:30. So, yeah. There's that. Look at this crazy gap up on the gold mini trust. It's falling now though. And then silver. Silver is actually down over 5% at $80.22. The copper miners ETF is down almost 3% at 93. AMD is down almost 3% at 194.67. Bitcoin is at 66,320. IBIT is up 1% at 37.58. Ethereum is still under 2,000. It's at 1,953. BMNR is up 1.5% at 19.25. Palantir is AI defense stock. It's up almost 5% at 143.66. And Robinhood is down 0.25% at 75.58. Oh yeah, speaking of that, we can check out our Iraq War 2026 stocks that we talked about yesterday. Yes, look at this gap up, y'all. We called it. We said that was going to gap up. And let's see what we got. It's up 7% right now. Up 7.5%. BNO. Let's check next one. USO is up 6.27%. XOP is up almost 3%. IEO is up 2.5%. XLE is up 1.5%. It was up more, but it has since fallen since the open. But it was up a lot more than that. So this is an all-time high. We can move this all-time high up here. Let me verify on a larger. Yep, that's an all-time high for XLE. Let's check out some of these defense stocks. Lockheed Martin. It opened up very high in the pre-market at 713, but it's been falling since market open. But it's still up 2.75%. Northrop Grumman, it is very high in the pre-market as well, but it has since fallen. It's about but it's still up 3.5%. Raytheon is up over 3%. Chevron It was up a lot in the pre-market, but it's falling right now. And ExxonMobil it's falling as well. All right, so that's what we got, folks. Wow, look at NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA strong right here. Okay, strong start for the day on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is up 1.5%. Okay. All right, let's check out some news. Okay. Speaking of NVIDIA, let me tell you about some price target increases after earnings for NVIDIA. Melius, new price target is 380, up from 350. Bard, new price target is 300, up from 275. Bernstein, new price target is 300, up from 275. Citibank, new price target is 300, up from 270. Wedbush, new price target is 300, up from 230. Raymond James, new price target 291, up from 272. Truist, new price target 283, up from 275. President Capital, new price target 280, up from 245. And JP Morgan, new price target 265, up from 250. So, very bullish on NVIDIA in the long term. It's just, it got sold off crazy after earnings. But that's a lot of price target increases, y'all. All right, next. I thought this was kind of funny because I actually do this myself. This was from Amit on Twitter. He said, people don't understand how they can just make coffee at home with a spoon and water and some instant coffee. Maybe one day people will realize it's a better option. You got Starbucks at the house every day with a spoon, water, and instant coffee. Without all the sugar. Shout out to Mick, man. I do the same thing. I actually add creatine to my coffee because I be working out like that. And beets powder as well. Maybe if Mick get on a workout, I'll let him know that he should add some creatine to his coffee. All right, next. This is from Yahoo Finance. Burger King said it is testing AI-powered headsets that can track how friendly employees are to customers. So they'll see how many times they say please and thank you. Ooh. And they can see how rude customers are as well. I wonder if they're going to track that. I thought that was pretty funny, though. All right, next. This is from Bar Chart. OnlyFans. Y'all know what OnlyFans is. OnlyFans is the most revenue efficient company in the world. Even NVIDIA doesn't even come close. And NVIDIA is number 2. So if you look at this chart here, revenue per employee, OnlyFans is $37.6 million, while NVIDIA is $3.6 million. Apple, $2.4 million. Meta, $2.2 million. Google, $1.9 million. OpenAI, $1.1 million. Microsoft, $1.1 million. Tesla, $800,000. Amazon, $400,000. OnlyFans is the king of revenue efficiency per employee. Wow. Just incredible. Just incredible, y'all. All right, next. NVIDIA is teaming up with telecommunications companies to build 6th-generation networks capable of using AI. NVIDIA says the current generation 5G isn't capable of supporting the widespread use of AI, that the networks of today simply aren't ready for the use cases of tomorrow. So NVIDIA is teaming up with these phone companies, y'all. They said 5G is not enough. We're going to have to get into 6G. I think China's already using 6G. But at least in America, we are not ready with this 5G. So that's NVIDIA. They partner with everybody. That's also how they stay on top. You can't call it a monopoly if they partner with everybody and the competition too. Shout out NVIDIA, man. All right, next. Let me check on that trade right quick. Let's see, do we hit it? We getting close. We got close. That's 604. I think he said 604. That's 604. We hit it. We hit it. The gap is not filled, but it's 2/3 of the way filled. So shout out Doug for that call. But he's done trading for the day. It's only 13 minutes into the market, y'all. I couldn't remember if he said 604 or 606. But now that I think about it, he definitely said 604. All right, so shout out to Dub, man. Let me get back to the news. Great call, by the way. All right, next, this is from Yahoo Finance. Pokemon, the world's most valuable media franchise, turns 30. This franchise is worth $147 billion. Followed by Hello Kitty, worth $89 billion. Winnie the Pooh, $76 billion. Mickey Mouse, $74 billion. Star Wars, $70 billion, y'all. Wow. Oh, you know, Trump started the war. Well, the U.S. invaded Iran, and Trump got to talking when he went to Texas. Let's see what he said, y'all.
Time flies. Time flies. Maybe we do one more term. Should we do one more? Do one more term. Well, we're entitled to it because they cheated like hell in the second. We would actually be entitled to it. But think of it, the price of...
He said one more term, y'all. One more term. Can he pull it off? I bet he gonna try. We'll see. He might just run as VP and have the president step down. But would the president step down? I don't know. That seat of power might not be able to step down. He might say it, and then when it's time to step down, he's like, nah, I ain't stepping down, man. Just talk your shit as VP. They'll still listen. All right, next. This is from Unusual Whales. At 30, you should have retirement savings worth 1 year of your annual income and double that by age 35, according to Fidelity. By 60, the typical worker should have 8 times their annual income in their retirement. By 67, you should have 10 times your income in your retirement account. Just some numbers, folks. Just some numbers. Are we headed in the right direction, or should we pivot? Next, this is from Wallow. Some motivation. You don't fail when you fall behind. You fail when you decide the race isn't worth finishing. Keep moving. Consistency beats motivation every time. Shout out Wallow for that. All right, next. Israel hacked a popular Iranian prayer app to send notifications to potentially millions of phones on Saturday morning, urging the country's military personnel to defect from the regime and join a fight to liberate the country. Wow. That is crazy. Next, the UAE announced it's closing the stock market on Monday and Tuesday following the Iranian strikes. All right, next, let's check out the Fear and Greed Index. Should definitely be in fear with this new war going on, folks. All right, let's see. Yes, we are in fear. We're back in the middle of fear. We are at 37 in the Fear and Greed Index. All right, let me run the numbers. I ran those numbers already. Let's check out the sectors. Everything is red except energy. Everything is red except energy. All right, XLK technology is down over 0.25% at 138.42. XLY consumer discretionary is down almost 2% at 114.79. XLC, our communications sector, is down over 0.5% at 117.29. XLF is down over 1% at 50.88. XLV is down over 0.25% at 159.74. XLP is down over 0.5% at 89.52. XLE is up 0.75% at 56.33, and it did hit an all-time high today. XLU is down almost 0.5% at 47.53. XLI is down almost 0.5% at 176.50. XLB is down over 1% at 52.81, and XLRE is down over 0.5% at 43.66. Let's check out some of the ETFs we like to look at on this show. Everything is red. All right, IWM, the Russell 2000 is down over 0.5% at 259.61. SPYM is down 0.5% at 80.36. QQQM is down almost 0.5% at 249. SPYG is down over 0.25% at 103.22. SOXQ is down 0.75% at 63.24. TQQQ is down 1.25% at 49.95. SOXL is down over 3% at 60.70. SOXX is down 1% at 349. XLG is down over 0.25% at 56.93. The IBIT 30 is down 0.5% at 29.64. SPYI is down almost 0.5% at 51.87. And QQQI is down almost 0.5% at 52.22. All right, let's check out the heat map. Let me refresh, make sure we know, up to date. All right, NVIDIA is looking good, up 1.5%. Finance is looking really red. Producer manufacturing looking really red. Consumer services looking really red. Healthcare looking really red. Outside of Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, I see a lot of red on this heat map, y'all. Palantir is up over 4%. Let me see. What is this? NOC. I don't even know what that is. I don't know, but it's up over 3%. Lockheed Martin is up 2.25%. But yeah, a lot of red on this heat map, y'all. A lot of red on this heat map. All right, let's get back to the news. NVIDIA and Lumentium, ticker symbol LITE, just announced a new multi-year strategic agreement. The agreement includes NVIDIA investing $2 billion into Lumentium and a multi-billion-dollar purchase commitment for advanced laser components, y'all. NVIDIA stay working and collaborating, y'all. NVIDIA also reports a $2 billion investment in Coherent. Yeah, they with the lasers, y'all. All right. Next from Unusual Wells, a weaker dollar does not derail U.S. stocks per JP Morgan, y'all. And another thing JP Morgan said is buy the dip on the Iran escalation. JP Morgan says rising Iran tensions are a buying opportunity, not a reason to exit stocks. Mislav Matijaka, that's funny, advises using short-term weakness to add positions as the conflict is likely temporary and any oil spike should fade. Fundamentals remain solid, inflation is expected to stay contained, and much of the tech AI repricing is already done, limiting further downside. The bank continues to favor international emerging markets and Eurozone equities. All right. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy bought 3,015 more Bitcoin this past week for an average cost of $67,700. They now have a total of 720,737 Bitcoin with the average cost of $75,985. So they're still in the red, y'all. Next, Anthropic's Claude suffered a partial outage after topping the App Store charts. So they went to number one on the charts. So many people was downloading it and they had an outage. They was not ready. All right, Bitmine. Tom Lee and Bitmine bought a little more than 30,000 Ethereum this week. As you can see, they hold 9.9 billion in total crypto and moonshots. 4.4 million Ethereum at $1,976 per, and they own 195 Bitcoin, a $200 million stake in Beast Industries, and a $14 million stake in 8Co Holdings, which is moonshots, and they have 868 million in cash. All right, just a little update on Iran. So the strikes enter day 3 across the region. Iran attacks forced Saudi refinery shutdown. Qatar halts LNG output. Markets react. Stocks fall. Oil and dollars rise. Well, they fell at the open, but they was up in the pre-market. U.S. reports 3 jets lost in friendly fire incident in Kuwait. And air travel remains heavily disrupted. Next, around 90% of Iran's crude exports go to China, but the country is well prepared for disruption. Small independent refineries hold ample near-term supply, while Iranian oil already in transit could cover roughly 5 months of demand. China has also built large reserves, about 200 days of import cover, helped by discounted crude from Iran and Russia. Bottom line, even if Iranian flows are disrupted, the impact on China is likely manageable. All right. Next, we have the United States has fallen to its worst ever position in a leading global index that measures views of corruption in the public sector among independent experts and business people, per CNN. Next, 4.8% of all household debt is delinquent, the highest overall delinquency rate in nearly a decade. Next, the Justice Department, this is from Wall Street Journal Business News. The Justice Department is seeking to force a breakup of Live Nation and Ticketmaster in a trial that kicks off today, y'all. It's an antitrust trial. Next, this is from Forbes. Can casual marijuana users own firearms? Supreme Court will consider legality of gun restrictions today, y'all. All right. So that's it, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. $1 Trillion Tickers. I do this show every morning live on YouTube and Facebook. Shout out everybody on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And we'll be back tomorrow. Look like Microsoft turned green. Only Microsoft and Nvidia are the only $2 trillion tickers that are green. Oh, Meta just turned green. Okay, look like we got some upside coming. Okay, let me check the Qs for the highest, for the full gap fill. Not yet, but it's almost there. The full gap fill will be 606.04. All right. So yes, we'll be back tomorrow, 6:15 live in the pre-market. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.